All right. It is the hovering specter that no matter how many times she claims it won't affect her run for the presidency, Hillary Clinton cannot and should not be able to shake it until it's put to rest one way or another. Email servers, what we've discussed here. Now, another facet of where the campaign is heading as we head for this version of the political animal, where we only delete the unnecessary babble and get to the heart of the political matter. Let's welcome back the veteran Republican strategist, professor at Georgetown University, joins us via telephone, Bradley Blakeman. Also, we are joined by conservative activist, Newsmax insider, and host of the Julio Rivera Show on Lantern's radio network, the self-described conservarican, Julio Rivera. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Julio, let's get to you first here. This whole issue now about the email probe, Hillary Clinton's private email setup, CIA drone strikes in Pakistan. Granted, the words CIA, drones, or specific information were not used in any of these emails. We need to make that point very clear. But don't you just think that at this point, if Donald Trump, the Republicans, want to beat Hillary, you keep hammering this home every single day. Let them know it's there. Don't let the American people forget this.
Absolutely. I mean, as much dirt as Hillary Clinton has on, they've got to beat this home every single day. The fact of the matter is, I want to see what happens when Huma Abedin is actually deposed. Whether or not she pleads the fifth will also have an effect on the way that the Trump campaign can actually use the information against Hillary. So I'm wondering what information they're going to be able to get from her and what is actually going to be made available through the process of investigation.
Now, Brad, here's something interesting, because a lot of the GOP hierarchy wants Donald Trump to focus on issues. Yet Julio just pointed out what has made Donald Trump. It's getting down on the dirt. He doesn't talk issues at all, and he wants to continue to stay in the dirt right here. So here we have the hierarchy says issues, Donald Trump says dirt. You know who's going to win this one, Brad, and that's going to be Donald Trump. He's going to talk about what he wants to, when he wants to. They can't control him.
Well, you know, he did a good job after he was taken to the woodshed the other day and gave his teleprompted speech. And he can do both. He can talk about issues, and I happen to believe honesty and integrity is an important issue to talk about. But we also have to talk about what he's going to do about the economy, what is he going to do to keep America safe, and that requires policy and detail, something that we haven't heard too much of too late, but he's got to do that in order to be competitive. But the jury is still out on Hillary Clinton. The FBI has yet to conclude their investigation. But something very important happened yesterday when the White House press person came to the podium at the White House and said Hillary is under criminal investigation.
Don't you think they had to do that, though, Brad? They had to do that, though, Brad, because if they continue to duck this anymore, then you would basically have people. They're still saying right now that the White House is going to pressure the Justice Department and make sure that this all goes away. But they have to come clean on this one time or another.
You would think so, but up until yesterday, they've allowed Hillary Clinton to lie to the American people and said this is a security review, when even the FBI director says, I don't even know what that means. We don't do security reviews. So the fact that they're calling it for what it is, it tells me how serious this thing is.
Julio, let's talk about issues here for a moment here, because Brad brought it up, so I'm going to go ahead and send this to you right now. Mitch McConnell said today it is obvious that Donald Trump doesn't know the issues. Quote, he needs someone highly experienced and very knowledgeable because it's pretty obvious he doesn't know a lot about the issues. That's why Mitch McConnell even says he may not support Donald Trump. Julio, let's be really honest here. When these two start going at it, Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, Trump had better know his issues inside and out, because isn't there still the fear here that once it comes down to that debate stage, you know it's going to happen, that she could rip into him and basically expose him? He's got to make sure that doesn't happen. Julio, we lost your audio because we're going to go ahead and try to check that out. Julio, we'll give you a sec. Try one more time, Julio. Your audio went away. I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to go ahead, check on Julio. Brad, I'm going to bring that one to you here because it comes down to the issues. What do you think?
It does. And look, Donald Trump needs to surround himself with known quantities in every policy issue area, be it the economy, national security, education, immigration. And he has yet to do that. He needs to roll out who are the people that he's listening to, and then he has to stand on his own 2 feet and articulate the policies that he's asking people to support. You cannot be elected to the presidency or any office without mastering the issues for the American public. They're looking for leadership, and you have to deliver on that.
Let me spin a little bit here, and Julio, I think we have you back, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you to comment on this one. This one's coming at you right now because we're going to spin left here for a moment. We haven't talked much tonight about what happened today. Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton getting together. Now, Warren was on the Rachel Maddow show last night. She said she's ready to support Hillary, and she says this reflects how Democrats are falling rank and file right behind Hillary Clinton. This is something that everybody has been waiting for. It's a moment that the Democrats have been waiting for, and now they finally got it. Here's what she said.
Trump is picking on someone who is ethically bound not to defend himself. Exactly what you would expect from a thin-skinned racist bully. Donald Trump says Judge Curiel should be ashamed of himself. No, Donald, you should be ashamed of yourself. Donald Trump is a loud, nasty, thin-skinned fraud who has never risked anything for anyone and who serves no one but himself.
I am ready to get in this fight and work my heart out for Hillary Clinton to become the next president of the United States and to make sure that Donald Trump never gets any place close to the White House.
All right, Julio, Donald Trump loves a fight. You know as well as I do, this is Elizabeth Warren trying to get under his skin. Don't we need to see right now the people who support Donald Trump want him to back? Well, wait a minute. Do they want him to back up and be more presidential, or do you think they want him to go right at her?
Well, you know what? His base actually doesn't really, I think, want him to be presidential. But you made a good point earlier about the rank and file getting together in the Democratic Party. That's why they accomplished so much. I mean, the Republican Party is extremely splintered. I mean, there's 60% of the Republican base or close to that doesn't even support Donald Trump. And then when the establishment tries to get behind him, he puts his foot in his mouth. So this is going to be extremely difficult for Donald Trump going forward, especially since, and if you get Bernie Sanders and his supporters to actually get behind Hillary Clinton as well, this is going to be a tough endeavor. The Republican Party has a lot to think about going into the convention in July as to whether or not Donald Trump is runnable on a national ticket.
All right, now here's something else. Here's coming to you, Brad. I got 90 seconds left. Former House Majority Leader Tom DeLay, he was on this show yesterday, and he told us why the Republicans do not necessarily need to support Donald Trump for president. He makes this case. I'm going to have you comment. Here it is.
You don't need a Republican president to sign your bills. We proved that in the 90s with Bill Clinton. When we took the majority for the first time in 60 years, we set the agenda. In fact, Bill Clinton did not get to sign one major bill that he initiated.
All right, Brad, is he right?
No, he's not, because it takes two to tango. It takes the president and the House and the Senate acting as a legislature. So you're at the mercy of the president. Haven't we seen that the last 8 years with Barack Obama? I mean, haven't we learned that lesson? All the president has to do is pick up the pen and the phone, and we're dead. We've got another 4 years of a renegade president. No, that may have worked 30 years ago. It won't work today.
Julio, 20 seconds. How concerned should the GOP then be about their down ticket?
Well, down ticket, I mean, is what it's all about. I mean, the legislators, they push the bills up, and depending on who's sitting in that big seat depends on whether or not that legislature actually gets through. So, I mean, they need to put a lot of money and a lot of support behind there, but there has to be unity. There has to be unity all across the ticket from, Donald Trump, if it's him, on down.
There better be some unity because they're going to need it come November. This fight's going to get worse. Bradley, Blakeman, Julio Rivera, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk soon. How worried are Washington insiders that Donald Trump has gone too far already? The insight from our man inside the Beltway. And get on the phone lines at 1-877-NEWSMAX. We're going to come back to your phone calls when the Hardline continues.